Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the Schlage. This is their part number B300-208716. These are what are called drive pins, and drive pins have been the bane of many a homeowner. What drive pins are is when you have a double cylinder deadbolt, you'll have the two long machine screws that will go through the inside cylinder assembly, through the latch bolt, into the tapped holes in the exterior side. Well, the concept of the drive pins is to cover access to the Phillips drive of those screws. And what is done, and these are so small you're not going to see much of this at all on the camera naturally, small little teat that's there that is knurled. And when you put that in the Phillips drive and then you carefully tap that in, it takes up residence in that part of the screw, and it thoroughly eliminates casual accessing of the Phillips drive to remove those screws. The problem for some unsuspecting lowly homeowners who just want to take the deadbolt off the door is there is no really elegant way to get these off the door without potentially marring things up, because you get them in there and somebody really smacks them in like they should be, their purpose in life is fulfilled. You won't get access to those screw heads. I've had customers who have told me don't install those. I've had myself where I've installed them in my own home. I've not put them in because I knew I was going to pull the lock off the door, and I didn't want to try to get a very micro scratch awl underneath there and try to pry them off, because they don't come off real nice. Drilling them is not really an answer either, because you're forever going to be stuck with part of that item in there. And I don't know what these are made of. Well, they're steel. Okay. And I've had people call me, what's the best way to get these out? Try to get something underneath the head and just pry them out. I've also installed them for myself, and I've not fully tapped them in, so I could pop them out. But the times that I've done that, I've always been surprised as to how much effort it actually takes to still have them come off the screw. So someone who's buying these, and this client has bought 6 pair of them, they may have deadbolts that don't have them. So, or they may have removed them to rekey the deadbolt or to service the deadbolt somehow, and now they want to put it back the way it was. So let's talk about exactly what these will do for you in that sense. So where are you going to use these? That's the big question. So let's discuss that. If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video. Now, why would you be buying these? Well, it's because you want to protect those deadbolts from being easily removed from the door. Every time that people install these is when you have a door with glass or side lights. Now, these would be standard practice to be included in some double cylinder deadbolts from Schlage. They're going to be in the box. The question that people will wonder, they'll call and say, what are these little gizmos for? And I'll explain what they're for, and then talk about why you want to put them in, why you might want to consider an alternate path. I don't have all the facts of the matter, but installing them does render someone's future job a bit more challenging to just simply pull those deadbolts off. But that's the entire point. You want to remove those screws from coming off, which would be very, very simple without these installed. I could not see easily a means of bypassing that deadbolt by removing it if I didn't have complete and full access to the head of these screws any other way, short of having full access. It is not simple to pop these off. They don't just pop off. You can't get a tool underneath. The margins are simply too tight. So now you understand when to use them and when you don't. You might want to use them also just because it's the aesthetic appeal of not seeing the Phillips drive of screws is awfully nice too. A couple of basic dimensional properties. These things are tiny, but here we go. The OD of the head is 2.73. 2.73. The overall thickness of it, I suppose, 0.1. 0.146. Yes, 0.146 overall thickness. That knurled area has a diameter of 0.112. Let's switch to the screen view and see if we can just dig up some supporting information on this. Here is the item that we are looking at. Let's take a look at some photographs that are here. The packaging shows you a reasonably good view of what that knurling looks like. 716, that's the finish. This is actually available in different finishes. Let's take a closer look at those finishes. 605 polished brass, 606 satin brass, 619 satin nickel, 626 satin chrome, and then 716 is like a Venetian bronze type of finish. That's going to match your oil rubbed and whatever their 643E finish is from Allegion. You know, your dark bronzy type colors. You know, so that's what we have listed here. Now let's take a closer look and see if we can come up with anything from the technical or the service manual for this. So this is a B300-208. Let's get that document to load. There may be nothing inside of here that will help. But let's pull up the catalog as well. B300-2. Waiting for this 1,000-page document to index. Now, while that's indexing, let's look in the catalog at the B. Okay, the B562 is going to be a double cylinder deadbolt. And unfortunately, they don't show the inside of that at all. But that double cylinder is where you're going to see that. Yeah, they don't show a double cylinder here either. All right, let's see if we can just do a general search. I've got an image search here, but here we go. Now we see something nice. So what we have here is let's do this. There are your B300-208s. So you can tell they do make it look a bit more aesthetically pleasing, I would say. So there you go. Pretty nice, pretty handy to be able to close that off. But, as you might be able to tell from that margin, going to be hard to pop those off. Okay, so we pulled up the catalog and we didn't find anything there. There is apparently nothing in the service manual from that. However, the advantage of pulling up the now on the manufacturer's page that is linked to here right below this video, we're going to be able to pull up, and I'll show you where that link to the service manual is should you want it. It's right here, service manual. Obviously it didn't have our drive pins in it, but there is also a link to the Schlage key system summary. This is a really handy document when it comes to understanding how they go about determining keyways and how to order certain restricted keyways. Cylinders and key blanks quick reference guide is here as well. That's a more patrician version of that same document giving information that the general public would benefit from. Also, there is a link to the manufacturer's full-line catalog, a link to the manufacturer's website, and encyclopedic documents are on this page, as you can see, several and many of those. Let's wrap up this video on camera. Okay, in conclusion, this is the Schlage B300-208 in a 7/16 finish. Schlage, I believe, is approaching their 100th anniversary. 2021, I think, is 100 years for Schlage, or thereabouts, something in that range. Walter Schlage is very important, is a very important mile marker in the history of lock development. He has one patent in particular to his credit that is something that we all either use every day or most definitely have used. His patent was placing the cylinder itself within the operating trim, the knob itself, rather than that cylinder being somewhere else. And it really gave movement to a certain platform of lock set that we all, like I said, use all the time. Very fascinating, interesting history of Walter Schlage, the lock wizard as he was known. Any questions on these drive pins or any other Schlage product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you. Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up, please subscribe, and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.